So I am Becca, and I am here with David and David of the Cherokee Scout and the Cherokee County Arts Council.
Cool.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are here in the Mill Building at 104 Tennessee Street to share with you about a new exhibit that we'll have coming up. We'll have the opening the evening of Friday, May 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. And it is an exhibit showcasing the life's work of Scott Wallace, local photographer. So for those of you in the area, we know him as the photojournalist at the Cherokee Scout.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure you have some phenomenal memories, but I did not realize just how talented and the many awards that he had won. So I would love for you gentlemen to share a little bit about both Scott and his work.
Well, I was very fortunate in 2003 to hire Scott and bring him into the community. He was the Cherokee Scout's first full-time staff photographer, which was just a reflection of the emphasis that I put on the position. And over the next 9 years, he proved me right around every turn. There was never a week where I ever had to worry whether I was going to have top-notch, first-class artwork for the newspaper. Didn't matter whether it was on sports, whether I sent him to a boring government meeting, or whether he went to July 4th fireworks. He was going to come back with something that was both professional, technically, as well as a very compelling and interesting images. And for a newspaper editor and publisher, you just can't ask for more from your photographer.
Cool.
Yes, when you truly tell a story with one image,
yes,
which
indeed.
is amazing. Some of my favorite, he caught a lot of pictures of my girls when they were little at different things. He caught my youngest in her tutu phase. When we had trees downtown at Art Walk, sidewalk chalking trees, and Vivian, like just all of her spunkiness. So yeah, we have lots of fun memories with Scott.
I do too. Actually, I learned early on that Scott was actually interested in my job a dozen years ago when I took over the Art Council. But I discovered very quickly what a fine photojournalist he was. He and another local professional, Nathan Barrios, were the only choices I could think of for a grant-funded year-long workshop for high school students in photojournalism, which produced the very first exhibit in our center gallery there.
How about that?
On Valley River Avenue. We learned little by being friends with Scott, close enough friends to be invited down Mission Road for trout dinner. He'd ride his motorcycle up to my house and say, "David, I've been fishing, let's go. Cheryl don't eat fish." And off I'd go. But I discovered in his house the first evidence of really fine art, particularly black and white photography, and eventually learned that Scott was not only that fantastic photojournalist for this David, he was an award-winning fine art photographer known from Chicago to Key West for his imagery. Of course, we discovered he had other talents. We learned his history included being a professional actor. I'm surprised he was not a wrestler, but
I could have seen that.
He was adept at riding motorcycles, and I suspect he probably taught people to do that safely. We were honored when Scott's untimely death occurred with no family here. The executor of the estate knew that Scott and I were good friends, and somebody had to take care of this large body of work. We have hundreds of his photographs actually printed out and thousands in a digital record. And the executor of his estate said, "Can you take this on?" We did. We felt kind of inadequate, humbled by the requests. I called up the Smithsonian Institute, who, lo and behold, thought it was marvelous that a small town art council would do this. And they began immediately to crack the whip with education on us to make sure we knew what we were doing. So it is a distinct pleasure to have a public place like this in the Mill Building to show a nice selection spanning several years and multiple locations of Scott's life work. He was so good at it and so aggressive in making sure that the people he taught learned how to see clearly the world around them, not just operate a camera, but to see the world around them clearly. And so we are pleased and proud to be able to curate this gallery for the Mill Building for Scott Wallace.
Very much.
And he was always such a humble gentleman. Like when
Oh,
you say he had
yes,
an
yeah,
eye, he was
yeah.
just, you wouldn't so much know, he just kind of lay back and observe and
Mhm.
take it in, but always had that backwards cap.
Mm.
Yes.
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 So, but I did not realize that he had been an actor and a
Mm.
voiceover and
Mm.
just how much he had done and how accomplished he was. And we have a few photographs behind us from
Mhm.
various locations, some black and white, some vivid, beautiful color. So I'm looking forward to having everyone here Friday, May 23rd. Definitely stop by. We'll have some wine.
Mm.
And I'm sure you'll hear more stories. That'll be from 5 to 7 p.m. here in the Mill Building at 104 Tennessee Street. So
Cool.
we'll see you there.
Thanks, Becky.